How's it going, everyone? This is Josh from Football Talk with JB, and I'm joined by
Coach DeAndre Austin, head coach BTW High School.
yes, sir, and he comes from he's going into a program that had a lot of success last year, but he also comes from a program that had a lot of success while he was there. You were the offensive coordinator when Charles Henderson went to the state championship game, weren't you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. How long were you at Charles Henderson as the OC?
I was down there a total of 3 years, 3 seasons. Got down there in 2021 with Coach Hambright when he received the opportunity down there. Went down there in 21, so 21, 22, and 23
Yes, sir.
season.
Yes, sir. And all three very successful seasons.
Not the first one.
Well, not
The first one we went 2-8. First season we went 2-8. Then second season state championship berth.
Yes, sir. That was quite a turnaround. I know Coach Hambright won Coach of the Year that 2022, which it was very deserved. That was quite a turnaround in 1 year.
Absolutely.
And he's an excellent coach. I have a lot of respect for him. But I want to talk about a little bit about Booker T today. And I'm an offensive-minded guy, so I always start with offense, and I always start with what I think is the most important part of the offense, and that's the offensive line. You can't do anything without the trenches.
Absolutely.
So how many of those starters from last year's team? I guess just who are the guys that are going to be able to move people up front this year?
Well, we definitely have a good cohesive group. We returned 3 of the starters from last year. Left guard, center, and right guard all started last year. Now, they weren't specifically in those positions last year, but they did play up front. So even not being in those positions, that experience up front is definitely helpful. And we have two young tackles that are definitely growing, very, very large human beings. But it's definitely a good look when you have a little size up front with a little strength in the interior. So I definitely like where we are up front.
Oh, absolutely, and you guys have he wasn't the starting quarterback last year, but he played a good bit. And I watched the spring game against y'all played Park Crossing in the spring game. I watched the spring game, and he looks like a really good quarterback. I saw him play a little bit last year, and he's definitely got a good arm on him.
Oh yes, yes indeed. He had a lot of growth going into the spring. He played a little bit last year, but it was definitely in a backup role. So now he's getting that crash course into how to be the field general, how to lead the troops, how to execute from the quarterback position. And in this type of offense, which is a little more pro style, he has to understand a lot. There's a lot more he has to understand, from protections, to motion, shifts, anything that's going on in the offense. He has to understand the whole picture, which he's definitely picked up very well. He's been very adamant about learning. I let him watch some of my film from my time at Charles Henderson, so he can see how the offense has grown and see the different nuances, wrinkles that we'll have and add along the way. So, man, I can't speak enough about the kid.
Yes, sir, absolutely, and I know everyone knows about Marquez Daniel. He is a fantastic receiver. He can do it all. He can get open deep. He can jump over you and catch the ball. I mean, fantastic receiver. I can't say enough about him. But who are maybe some of the receivers and running backs that people don't know about yet?
Yes, Marquez. He's definitely a tremendous talent. I've seen the kid. He everything he does, it looks effortless. But we definitely have 3 other guys at the receiver spot that can go, who have been making strides this summer. Jalen Price, Ray Minor, and Jeremiah Kitt. Two of them, though, 2 of those guys are juniors. One of them's going to the 10th grade. And all of them saying similar ability to Marquez. But you can't coach 6'4".
Yes.
That's one thing that definitely separates Marquez. And at running back, we have a guy who played last year, Jarvis Floyd. he played pretty much all positions, whether it was running back, linebacker, receiver, safety. Played a lot of things, but definitely when I came in the spring, I said, you know what? We need a guy with good vision, a good burst, and that was tough. And he was the guy that stuck out, so he's the starting running back for us right now. And man, the kid can do it all. So he can split out receiver, he can go running back, whatever we ask of him, man. He's a football player.
Oh yes, sir, absolutely. And defensively, that they had a really good offense. Or y'all, well, the Booker T defense was really good last year, and that was a big reason for the playoff success. To be able to hold a team like Hanley to 9 points, and a team like Jackson to 17 points, a team like American Christian to 12 points. That was awesome, and I know y'all are replacing a couple of really good guys, and Joe Phillips and Elijah. His last name slipping my mind now, but those were two huge contributors on that. But you definitely do not lack talent on that side of the ball. So who are some of the guys that are gonna keep that defense at that level?
Man, we definitely have some talent. That's one thing I said when I walked in. There's no shortage of talent. We have another DB, Dylan Purder, who's been definitely making some strides this summer. Pulled in an Auburn offer after a great camp. We have Chris Carter, J.U. Huru, Martravius Brooks, TK. Yeah, you got me with the last names now. TK Hampton. I'm sorry, TK Tremont Hampton.
Yes.
He's those guys are kind of the anchor for our defense right now. We had a basketball guy come out, KJ Moore. He came out and he's definitely showing a lot this summer. So, man, we have a lot of things that we're looking at defensively. We have so many different pieces and kind of trying to find specifically where we're going to hang our hat on and how we definitely want to play it, just from the style and from the kids' abilities. But we are definitely excited for what we have going into the season.
Yes, sir. And as far as special teams, what's your kicking game looking like, and who are some of the guys that are going to contribute at the return man positions?
Well, definitely some of the guys that I've named will contribute. One of the things that we will definitely iron out as we go into camp is going to be solidifying that kicking position, knowing who we have that's going to be punting and kicking. We had a guy who came out for the spring who wanted to, just kind of give it a try. I said, hey, if you can make some field goals in practice, we'll definitely give you a shot in the spring game. Yes. But he still needs some work. So, nothing wrong with giving a guy an opportunity. Hey, we learn from our failures. We take lessons and not losses. So we want to definitely kind of iron out that position as we go into camp. But guys that are definitely going to make impact are some of the guys that I've named. Of course, like I said, Jarvis Floyd, Marquez, definitely great return guys. Impact guys, like I said, Dylan Purder, he'll be an impact guy. KJ Moore, those will be impact guys. Some of the other receivers as well, as far as who will be able to make those big-time plays on special teams.
Oh, absolutely. A lot of people overlook special teams, but that's a big part of the game. That special team, I've seen special teams cost teams before.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you got to be fundamentally sound in all three phases of the game.
Absolutely.
I know you've brought in some new guys on the coaching staff. Can you just kind of brag about your coaching staff a little bit?
Oh, definitely. Brought in a couple of guys from Minnesota Technical Community College out of Minnesota. Our defensive coordinator, Antonio McKinney, who's originally from Louisiana. Yeah. He brought along his defensive backs coach, excuse me. He brought along his defensive backs coach, Demarius Pitts, he's out of Lochapoka area. He's been around here in the area before, played in the area, so he's familiar with the area. But both of them coming from a college system, college style, used to recruiting guys. So they definitely help give that extra dimension to the guys with that experience of, from the recruitment side of things, and creating a defensive system that is college-based. Yes. On the offensive side, we bring Rod Burton from down in Troy. He was receiver coach. He was also a athletic coach from the standpoint he trained kids in the area, really from Birmingham all the way down to Dothan. He definitely trained a lot of kids off the field. And then last year he volunteered as a coach with his older brother, who's the head coach down at Charles Henderson Middle School. He volunteered with him, and so he reached out to me when I got the job, saying, he definitely wanted to get into coaching and wanted to, learn the offense a little bit more after seeing what we did on the high school level. He wanted to learn the offense a little bit more. Then we bring in Carter Jordan as well, who comes from offensive coordinator over at South Girard, which is the middle school in Phoenix City. And definitely sitting down with an interview with him was almost talking to a mirror in a sense where I was like, you know what, I can see why a school system like Phoenix City definitely wins a lot when a middle school coach has this knowledge, is able to definitely communicate on this type of level, for the high school system. It spoke volumes to, not only to Phoenix City, but to their coaching staff and to Carter Jordan as well, who's coming on as offensive coordinator.
Yes, sir, and I've never really, I'm fairly new to this interviewing coaches and stuff, but I've never had the privilege to interview someone who's brought in coaches that coached at the college level. I'm curious, does that, with the connections to that school they're coming from, does that kind of help with recruiting? Like, it might get some guys looked at more by that school they came from, or does it just depend on who they're looking for?
No, it definitely helps because they worked at a junior college, so they had connections to, Division I, Division IIs, Group of Five, Power Five schools. So they have those connections with those coaches who came in to their college to try to recruit the players that they had there. So they have connections. And then, too, the biggest thing when coming into the spring was, that springtime is usually the hot time when college coaches are rolling through, trying to see who all each school has. So they are able to, properly give the kids, a breakdown for the kids what college coaches may be looking for in a player at specific positions. That's one of the things that I wanted to make sure that when I talk to the kids about being realistic about, expectations, because everybody wants to be that Power 5 guy. Everybody wants to be big time, but, have you looked at their roster of those colleges? Because, it's public information. Have you looked at the roster? Do you see what size kids they have? Do you see what type of kid? Do you know the kids that they're recruiting? All right, if you've done that homework, now let's see where's a school that fits your bill, that fits your size and criteria. Because some schools, especially if it's not Power 5, they're only looking for a certain size player. You might find you a gym every once in a while, a good ball player every once in a while, but at the end of the day, they're going to look for those 6'3", those 6'4" type guys, because that's what all the other schools in Power 5 conference are going to recruit. And, Division II with the transfer, Division I AA with transfer portal, they getting all the guys that's falling from Power 5. So, a lot of high school guys are folded into Division II type schools. So you get to Division II, now you get to those smaller schools, the D3s, the JUCOs, places like that. So it definitely was a good connection that the Coach McKinney brought in, Coach Pitts brought in, being able to relate to the kids and getting them to see, hey, okay, this is a college coach. How did he recruit? What was that process? What did he look for? Okay, this is what I need to change about myself in order for me to potentially get a look and get an offer.
Yes, sir. And I've got the, and that's definitely I want all kids to get that opportunity to get recruited. I know it. Unfortunately, sometimes it comes down to sometimes a kid might be undersized, but I don't necessarily look at that. I look at the talent and the effort they put in on the field.
Absolutely.
And I feel like there's a lot of kids that should get an opportunity, but that don't get the opportunity. But I've got your schedule pulled up, and obviously right now your only focus is that Eufaula game, which is a program that you're very familiar with, being at Charles Henderson, and they're a really good football program, and it's a program that Booker T. Washington has never beaten before. So. What do you think it would take to be able to get that first win all time against a program as good as Eufaula?
Man, that's a great program down there. It's it's hard to say from this current position, just because this is a different group of kids that I have.
Yes.
From where I was down at Charles Henderson. 5A level, you had a different breed of kids. When I got there, a lot of those kids were they were going to 10th grade. So we had 10th grade, and we saw Eufaula when those kids were going to the 11th grade, and then we saw them again when those kids were seniors. So
Yes.
those kids had a couple of years within the offensive and defensive system, so we were a little bit more fluid. Here, this is the first time these kids are entering this system. So with this first game right here, hey, I want to see us to take another step up from where we've been competing this summer, take another step up in our progress, and making sure that we are executing the right way. Anybody can be beat on any given Sunday. I think Coach Jernigan has done a great job down there with Eufaula, because he definitely built a winning culture, a winning program down there. So, biggest thing for us is don't allow BTW. That's my number one thing going into this game. So focus on us, continue to develop the fundamentals of the game, build on those things that we saw, and hey, move forward one after another.
Oh yes, sir, absolutely. And looking at your schedule, there is no easy game on this schedule. You're not going to have any off weeks or anything. That you're going to have to be up for every game, and Talissee's going to be a lot better, I believe. Talladega's always got athletes. Cleburne County was a playoff team last year. You play Bowden out of Georgia, which is a very good football program out of Georgia. And, of course, everybody's going to be talking about Handley and St. James. Bullitt County, they hired Cantrell Tyson as their offensive coordinator. I think they're going to be a lot better, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I actually interviewed him a couple of days ago. Video's already up and everything, but great guy. And like I said, you guys do not, you've got 2 bye weeks. Well, I'm sure part of that was probably not being able to find a 10th opponent, because nobody wants to play a good team anymore.
Well, no, it was when I got hired on, the schedule was kind of tentatively set.
Yes.
And we had 2 bye weeks, but it was a team that pulled out during the hiring process, and so we ended up with 3 bye weeks originally. And so Bowden was a team out of Georgia. They were looking for a game, and I was reaching out. I called a plethora of schools from 2A all the way up to 6A
Yes.
to try to find at least one more game. So, it kind of felt like that because everybody pretty much already had their schedules completed and locked in. So, yeah, it just wasn't any available teams at that time. So, I do like where our bye weeks fall because it gives us a chance. We play Eufaula to open up in week 0. Then it gives us a chance in that week 1 to kind of go back and correct ourselves, self-scout. We really get plenty of time to kind of fine-tune ourselves as we get ready to go into Talladega for
Yes.
our second game. We played them on a Thursday, so that'll give us a chance to kind of self-scout again with a little extra day of rest and recoup before we head into Tallahassee in our third game of the season. And, of course, we had that bye week at the end of the season, which kind of prep us, with our aspirations for making the playoffs and making a run. It definitely gives us opportunity to kind of rest and retool as we end the regular season going into the postseason.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And I've always been a fan of the way I look at it, you have that bye week in the very last week of the regular season, because the playoffs is almost basically like a brand new season. Like it's almost like playing a second season. So it gives you a chance to prepare. But I don't want to keep you too long. I want to end off. Just tell the viewers something to know about Booker T. Washington that they might not know already.
It's a special place. It's a special place. Community is a special group of people. They buy in. The level of buy-in from the kids, from the community has been tremendous since I've been here. It's a small town, small area. A lot of history in this area. Of course, you have Tuskegee University right down the road.
Yes.
But the biggest thing I can say is it's a special place. You feel that welcome from when you come in the door, from not just the people in the building, but the people, like I said, in the community who have reached out and said, hey, Coach, anything you need, we're here to support, we're here to help. Different sponsors just coming in, hey, Coach, we want to do this for the guys. We want to do this for the guys. That has been the biggest thing that has definitely helped us out through the summer, helped my transition, being the first time in the chair, being able to have those people that I can lean on, that are not in the school and not in the building, that have definitely helped us along this way.
Yes, sir. It's a community that loves its football, and
Oh, absolutely.
I'm looking at hopefully eventually I'm going to be able to travel and travel and check out some of these programs, like kind of get tours of facilities and stuff. And Tuskegee. I live in Tallahassee. Tuskegee is not very far from Tallahassee at all, so
Hop and skip.
I might I might have to come check y'all out sometime when I'm able to start traveling and stuff, because I want to try to get I don't want to just interview. Like, anybody can interview the coaches, but to actually get a true feel for the program, to visit those facilities is like, it'd be a blessing to be able to do one day. But like I said, I don't want to keep you on too long, Coach. So I want to thank you for coming on, and I want to wish you luck on the season. And I obviously I'm a graduate of Reeltown, so I do want to say, maybe in the future we could set up, something between
Yes,
Reeltown and Booker T. I think that'd be awesome.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I definitely appreciate you having me. Like I said, it's definitely been a blessing just to even be able to reach this point in life where your voice can be heard on a platform such as this.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what I want to do. I want to give as much recognition to coaches and players across the state and programs that deserve it. I'm very proud to be live in this state and be a part of this state, and I look forward to starting my coaching journey one day as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to me.
Oh, yes, sir. I really appreciate that, and thank you for coming on, and I have a blessed day.
Yes, sir. You too.
Yes, sir. All right, everyone. That was Coach DeAndre Austin, the brand new. Well, he's not brand. He's been there since before spring, but he's a new. He's going to be a first-year head coach at Booker T. Washington this year, and I expect great things out of Booker T. They have a lot of talent, and he's a really good coach. He's a great offensive mind, and I don't expect any fall off from Booker T. Washington. So thank y'all for watching. Peace out, everybody.